Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with a longtime friend, Ikuo Hiraishi, the
Thank
co-founder
you.
and CEO of GoGlobal Catalyst and professor at Musashino University. Ikuo, great seeing you, my man. How are you?
Good. The busy anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've been in touch for a long time. We know each other from early days. I remember the first global conference we did in Singapore, and you
Yes,
guys
that
came.
was back in 2013.
Yeah, 2013. That's
So
a great
12 years
memory.
ago. 12 years ago.
Man, a life goes by so fast, right?
And actually, that was my first time to visit Singapore.
Oh wow.
And I joined the EU conference at the NUS,
Yeah,
National University of Singapore.
yeah,
And the venue was excellent. It's kind of, stairs kind of the room. So I
yeah,
still remember. And you gave
yeah,
me the bag with the people crowdsourcing
yeah.
logo,
Crowdsourcing week. Yeah,
and
yeah,
also crowdsourcing week logo, and also the thick book about
yeah,
the
yeah,
crowdsourcing.
yeah.
Nice memory,
Wow,
huh?
great memory, man. I'm really
Right.
impressed. I completely forgot about it. And then the last time we saw each other, we met each other was in Tokyo. We had a
Yes.
great dinner together.
Yeah, Roppongi, and
Yeah,
you were totally out of the battery, so and you were delayed. I guess your flight was delayed, but
yeah,
even though
yeah.
I, sent to the email and the call, but no response
Good.
at all. But eventually, you showed
But I
up at
showed
the
up.
other.
I showed up,
Right,
right?
right.
So great to see you. First thing, let's start first with your journey. So, what first sparked your journey as a serial entrepreneur? You founded many companies. You invested in a lot of companies. And what were the early influences that led you to pursue innovation across so many of these ventures?
Meaning, what made me to go for the other entrepreneur or the investors and those kind of life.
Yeah.
It's a very good question, but the kind of little too complicated story. So it depends, how long, back to the younger days. But the when I established my first company was back in 1991. So
Wow.
34 years ago, right? And at
That's a
the
long
time,
time, man.
yeah, and at the time there was a kind of regulation change in Japan in
Mhm.
terms of the minimum initial capital to establish the companies in Japan. So the before that, technically, the corporation was able to be built with 400,000 Japanese yen. It means if calculate with the current exchange rate with the USD and Japanese yen, that is current exchange rate. Oh, sorry, I made mistake. It's roughly 3,000 USD. Relatively cheap money, right? So that's why lots of company owners established unnecessary companies to utilize those kind of unnecessary companies, almost paper companies, to add the lots of expenses and cost to reduce the tax, legally. So, but of course, government didn't like it. So that's why government decided to change minimum initial capital and the raise that amount to the 10 million Japanese yen, which is about 7,000 USD.
Okay.
So big increasing, right?
Mm.
So, but of course, no one, could increase their initial capital right away. So that's why Japanese government they gave us 5 years to prepare to increase your initial capital from such a tiny money to the other 70,000 USD. So, but if you register your new company by the end of March 1991, then you have 5 years to increase your initial capital to that par. So that's
Gotcha.
why lots of people established new companies by that deadline.
Mm.
And at the time, my ex-boss established a new company, and then I needed to help those process. So he forced me to help him to prepare lots of documents and etc. etc. So then I realized how to establish the company. And right after that, I realized, hey, that means I am also able to establish my own company. So I didn't have any plan, but I was, kind of getting excited. Okay, let's make my own company.
Right.
And then I didn't have, any money. So I borrowed, some money from my good friend, and also, borrowed money from my girlfriend at the time. Then I established my first company. That was
Amazing.
a startup for my entrepreneurial journey.
Amazing. That's this is what it takes, right? So everyone's journey is different, and at that time, there were very few entrepreneurs, and sometimes entrepreneurship it's just happened by mistake, and sometimes you'd be in the right place in the right time, and you got inspired to do that, and here you are,
Mm-hmm.
innovating and doing so many great things. You founded now multiple of those companies and accelerators.
Right.
What's the thread that connects all your ventures from Dream Vision to even to today's Go Global, or even probably just let us know what Go Global Catalyst is doing now and how are all these connected?
Okay. GoGlobal Catalyst is a kind of like a accelerator, but what we gonna do is the co-founder matching program, the to connect Japanese founders and foreign founders. So there are some similar types of the other company which are running a co-founder matching program, like Entrepreneur First, based in London, and also Antler, studied from the Singapore. But
Mm.
the difference of our Go Global Catalyst from those kind of companies, we focus and stick with the co-founder matching program with Japanese founders and foreign founders, because this is an important point. The Epi, you have well understood the Japanese industry or society. So after World War II, the Japan was completely destroyed, right?
Mm.
And Europe as well. So the US was the only market existing. So founders of Sony, Honda, Toyota, Panasonic, etc. So they challenged the U.S. market with the single ticket, no round trip tickets, and then the exchange rate at the time was 360 yen to a dollar. So very expensive from the Japanese standpoint, but that they needed to challenge the U.S. market. Otherwise, no markets on this planet. So that's why Japan has become one of the G7 countries. However, as you know, we used to be the second largest GDP country, but the China passed Japan, and then the last year Germany also passed the Japan, and now we have become fourth biggest GDP, right? So still, big market, so that's okay. But the other, unless birth rate increases by any reasons, or Japanese government decided to change their immigration policies, otherwise, our population keeps shrinking. And the 80% of the Japan's GDP have been produced by the domestic demand. It means the shrinking population equal means shrinking GDP,
Yep.
meaning a shrinking market. That's why we need to go global, otherwise we're going to be died. So the next question is, why Sony, Honda, Toyota, Panasonic, blah, 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 have been able to become a global players? And why we have not yet produced any internet, digital, software related new such a global players out of Japan? That is my question and my agenda, my problem consciousness. So long story short, of course, there are lots of reasons and perspective, also analysis. But from my point of view, perspective, there are 6 big disincentives or hurdles to produce next Sony, next Honda out of Japan. It's a random order, but first, Japan is a homogeneous country. Technically, there are some foreigners, but most of the people living in Japan are Japanese, right? Yeah. Meaning the monoculture, not diversified. So, people can, read between the lines, each other, okay? And the second, so our mother language is Japanese, which is totally useless outside of Japan. Only Japanese people, 120 million population, speak Japanese, but you don't speak Japanese, and no one speaks Japanese except the Japanese, right? Yep. But we are shrinking population. So homogeneous country, Japanese as our mother language. However, as I mentioned before, we are still 4th largest GDP. So that's okay at this moment. But anyway, shrinking. Yeah. Those 3 are the hard conditions. And the other 3 is it's changing, but still lots of talented people remain at the large corporations, yeah. Sony, Honda, or banks, etc. And the 4th, I'm one of them, so I cannot complain. But the people who have not studied or finished any technical majors at the universities, studied and running the tech companies. That's why even we can produce the content related companies, businesses, and startups, but we cannot develop any platform related business like GAFAM, right? Yeah. And the last one, everything has both sides of the coin. So we have very unique stock exchange market. So one of the other Tokyo Stock Exchange market sector is for startups, growth companies, emerging companies, right? The sector is called the growth sector. And the uniqueness is we can go public with a very small market cap. For example, 50 million, 60 million, sometimes, less. It's kind of like a big Series A, small Series B financing. If you are in the Silicon Valley or maybe in London, those kind of place. So the most of founders, unless he or she is very ambitious, they going to be satisfied with they can make their startups listed and get the single digit USD capital gain and then they can get a fame, right? Hey, I made my startup public. So that's why even though there are so many talented people in Japan, especially engineering scientists, but very difficult to produce globalized companies only with Japanese founders, because we don't have a diversified perspective and understanding different cultures.
Yeah.
So, for example, even though someone do speak a very good English, but most of the people who are working daily and communicating with daily lives, most of Japanese people. So very difficult to understand the foreign culture, different perspective,
Yeah.
and managing a diversified team. So of course, it's not easy to execute and make it happen. But theoretically, if the startup can be established with a Japanese co-founder, foreign co-founders, then that startups could have a broader perspective, the big vision, and that reach to the other market. Not only the Japanese market. That's why I decided to
That's the match
start.
that you're. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. This
Sorry,
is
kind of long
amazing.
story.
Yeah, this is great. So, Ikuya, your passion and your dedication to your country is it's truly amazing. And Japan is blessed to have you there and focusing on
Thank
bringing
you.
all that. You are teaching in university. You don't need to, but you want to. I truly believe that. And
Uh-huh.
the question is, the as a professor of entrepreneurship, how do you bring your experience from a startup world into the classroom? Because sometimes like the students can be unrealistic, or they don't even have a clear vision, or they don't have clear goals. I remember I was a student too, and I thought from a moment, I wish I had you as a professor back then in my university and teaching that. I would have been much better off in many ways, not just in terms of success and money, but in many ways. So how do you bring that experience from the startup into a classroom?
Thank you for a very the good question. I'm very honored to be asked that question. Uh, the name of our department is the Department of Entrepreneurship, and the name of the university is Musashino University. And our department was established back in 2021, the 4 years and 3 months ago, because not only Japan, but all over the world is now in the very big transitional period, right?
Mm.
I don't think the anyone have has a objection. We are in the very big transitional era.
Yeah.
So ex-president of that universities, the man with a very creative, innovative vision, mindset, he thought the universities should establish and teach productive, effective things rather than just sticking with ordinary departments like economics, uh, mechanical engineering, literature, etc.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, Musashino University is not the top tier university in Japan. So, for example, the University of Tokyo, those kind of universities, they are okay, right? Because all the other top talents enter the University of Tokyo, and then some more. But university like Musashino University has to be competitive
Mhm.
to get the smart students. So the ex-president was very smart in those kind of perspective. So then he wanted to establish the new departments, and then in addition to our department, he established the other data science department, and also sustainability department, and then he wanted to establish entrepreneurship department. Then he thought the ordinary researcher cannot establish entrepreneurship department because most of them never establish any startups, any VCs, no experiences, those kind of things. That's why he nominated the one guy who I know, the very successful business person. So the ex-president guaranteed all the other faculty members can be practitioners, like entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, new business development, marketers, copywriters, NPO management, etc. So that's why our department is the only department dedicated to entrepreneurship in Japan at this moment. We are the first and last at this moment. So that's why, all the other high school students who got interested in entering our department is very, how should I say, innovative, kind of cutting edge, not, ordinary kids. So that's why, of course, there are, lots of different, people, but the some of them are very much interested in how to be entrepreneurs, how they can establish their own startups. So that's why, to me personally, I just, mentor and give them advice, just as I do in my, ordinary lives as a startup founders, as a investors. So I don't need any kind of special how should I say methods or something.
Yeah. And this is truly like aligned with your mission and what the vision of the Go Global is truly like connecting the dots and being helpful to these high energy, very effective young generation that are willing and they are willing to learn. And so I remember before I started Bold Awards, I was thinking about, and we were doing this Bold Award. We were doing some of the events all over the world, and one event was in the H Farm, which you're familiar with. And there, the idea of a Bold Award started, but we did not have the name. And I remember you were sharing something like "Be Bold." And I said, "Wow, let's be bold. That's exactly what it is." So
Thank you.
I have to credit it to you. That's that inspiration came from you. So in that context, the leadership has to be bold, right? So if you're not a bold leader, in this environment, it's not easy to move into the markets and so on. So what does a good bold leadership look like in the context of guiding the startup founders?
Very good question. I think this is just a different, the analogy, but the be bold, italic, never regular is the tagline of, my the other company dream vision. But the new tagline for Go Global Catalyst, I've been thinking to put officially is Go Global Catalyst is the egg breaker, meaning when you want to make omelet, you need to break eggs. Otherwise, you can't make the omelet. Meaning, as long as you follow existing rules, regulations, then you cannot make any innovations. So of course, you should not break the law, legal, or the conditions, regulations. But as a business practice, that you don't have to follow the other, so-called common sense, right? So you should contemplate what is the other essential thing, what is the other bottom line, and then if you think the way of incumbents are doing is just keeping their interest, then you should break the rule to produce more efficient, more effective, and unrealized demand kind of thing. So in this huge transitional era, the bold leader should think about with no condition, questioning why this system has been built, why this system keeps running, and what makes society more efficient, more productive, more creative.
Well said. I'm going to ask you this question to you. What does the word bold mean to you?
Bold mean to me?
Yeah, the word bold.
The word bold.
Yeah, the word bold. Yeah.
Believe in yourself. Don't hesitate to be different. So you should follow your intuitive thing. That don't follow the other statistics. Just believe yourself.
I love that. Be bold or italic, but never regular.
Right. Exactly.
It's truly it's being an extraordinary person, being yourself, knowing yourself first. It's key to being
Yes.
bold. Ikuo, so great seeing you, my friend.
Yeah, very good to see you. Even through the other monitor.
Yeah, and truly looking forward to seeing you in person, hopefully in Japan or Singapore or anywhere. And I'm still waiting for you to come to one of our bowl awards. So hopefully
I would love to.
This next edition so we can celebrate together. Until that time, be great and be bold, my friend. Take care.
Right. Thank you for having me.
Take care.